Welcome to the MS Perspektive podcast, Perspective with a K as I'm German. I'm Nele van Horsten, MS patient, patient advocate and author. I'm bringing you interviews, inspiration and information about living with multiple sclerosis and show you ways how you can positively influence the disease and make the best out of your diagnosis. On ms-perspektive.com you will find the show notes, 11 free tips as a PDF and lots of other information. And now the show begins. Thanks for tuning in again and welcome to episode number 121, TheMay50K and Mental Strengths, a conversation with Susanne Melanie Schmid. And now enjoy the interview. Hello, Susan. It's such a pleasure to welcome you again on the English podcast. Hello.
Hi, Nele. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and before we actually start with the interview, it would be lovely if you could introduce yourself to the audience so they know who is with me on the podcast today, as I think most of them haven't listened to the German interview with you.
Yeah, I do that. Thank you. My name is Susanne Melanie Schmid. I live in Germany, in Bavaria, near Munich, where I was born. And I'm 42 years of age and married. And I love to cook. And I love to learn Greek. Not the ancient one, the nowadays language.
Good. So you can actually use it when you are on vacation in Greece. That's great. We have been there 3 years ago on Kos. It was nice. Yeah.
Go again.
There are so many nice places on this world. So, let's see. Okay, so you are an MS patient. When were you diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and what was the reason for this?
I got my diagnosis in September 2024. So it's just, it's a new one. And I couldn't bear all the symptoms and pain any longer on my own.
Did you already have symptoms that in retrospect were related to multiple sclerosis now that you know you have the diagnosis?
Yeah, unfortunately, quite a lot for many years. Pain, vertigo or dizziness, balance troubles, bladder issues, exhaustion, a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. How did you take the diagnosis and how was it for your loved ones?
Honestly, I have to admit, I was relieved. To have a diagnosis is a real game changer. I can get treatment and support now, medication, of course. And last summer, the topic, it might be a brain tumor, came up. So the last summer wasn't the best I ever had. And so therefore, I'm relieved. It turned out to be multiple sclerosis, whatever that means.
Yeah, totally understand that because if you compare it to a brain tumor, maybe a glioblastoma, multiple sclerosis is like, hey, yeah, great. I love to have this diagnosis compared to the other one. And what you just mentioned is quite typical that people who are looking for a diagnosis for many, many years and the doctors don't come up with it on, let's say fast enough, they are normally relieved, at least at the beginning. Maybe later on they are like, oh, yeah, still I would like to have no diagnosis, but with a diagnosis you can do something against it. So were you recommended disease-modifying therapies at the beginning and how did you decide?
Yes, I was recommended because I was alone so many years. So my doctor said we won't wait any longer. And I totally agreed and I decided to take it. And I'm off atumovimab right now. And here in Germany, it's Kesimpta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as you have the diagnosis for such a short period, I guess you haven't had any change in therapy, did you?
No, still getting used to this one.
Yeah. Do you use symptomatic therapies? And if so, which ones?
Yes, I do. Um, Thankfully, less pain, so more exercise is possible. And I have physiotherapy and also physiotherapy for the pelvic floor because of these bladder issues. And I own now I take medications for my bladder issues, and this is really lovely because this means I can sleep during the night, and I really appreciate it. And I also do relaxation techniques like progressive muscle relaxation and qigong.
Mhm. Very good. Yes, and it's so important to have a good sleep at night. This is one of the really big issues which were not in the focus for a long time. I have the feeling that it's getting more and more into the focus, and it's really important to everybody out there. If you have bladder issues, if you have spasticity or any other problems keeping you awake during night or waking you up, please talk to your neurologist because most of the symptoms can be treated, and this will lower your fatigue normally and help with other symptoms. Normally, it's better if you have a good sleep at night. So, how did you adapt your lifestyle after your diagnosis?
It changed the way I cook and eat. So it's even more healthy now. Took care of that before, but now even more.
Mhm.
And I sorted out my priorities. So I take more breaks. I take them earlier and I don't wait before I lack energy. I just take care of my energy before it's too bad.
Mhm. Very good choice. How do you view your future, and have your professional and personal plans changed?
You know, I'm looking positively into my future, and to adjust plans is not the end of life. And I'm curious, I'm positive, and quite creative. So I saw things the way I think it might be good, and I just try. And I think this is really important to have plans, otherwise, you can't adjust them.
Mhm. Yeah. Can you maybe describe what was your lowest point with multiple sclerosis? And very importantly, how did you find your way back?
My lowest point, yeah, to be honest, the years without diagnosis, without support, without treatment, with a whole bunch of symptoms and no idea what was going on. And how did I fight my way back? Sometimes I don't know, to be honest, but the important thing is don't give up and try to find someone who listens and believes you. And I found help finally. My gynecologist, she got it and she listened and she referred me to a neurologist. This doctor, this neurologist was a disaster, but a few weeks later, I found my neurologist and I couldn't be more grateful that I found her, but don't give up.
Yeah. And I think that's another important message here. At least in the countries where you can afford to look for an alternative neurologist or other doctor. I know it's not the case everywhere, but in the countries where you can, especially for a chronic disease, you have a lifelong relationship in a way until the doctor retires, of course. But it's good if your chemistry fits, if you match with each other, because you have to talk maybe about very private intimacy topics. And so it's good if you can trust the other one and feel welcomed and in a warm, friendly environment. So, how are you currently coping with your MS?
Currently, we're getting on quite well, still getting used to each other.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you are not diagnosed for a long time. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about the May 50K as a reason why I realized you are there and existing and very active. What motivated you to take part in the May 50K challenge and what did you gain from it?
I was curious. Leave your limits behind. The slogan sounded just promising. Leave your limits behind. I like that. So why not? Can't hurt, right? And more than I was hoping, what I get was more than I was hoping or expecting. And to be honest, I didn't have any expectations and I didn't have any ideas. I just did it.
Very good. And that's sometimes the best you can do in life, or quite often, actually.
Absolutely.
So, how did you manage to complete the 50 kilometers and what helped you to keep going?
That's a real good question. I have no idea, to be honest. I just walked every day. And when I started, I had no idea how to get 50 kilometers done walking in May. And every day, no matter what, rain or bad mood or whatever. And in the end, I walked 62 kilometers in May. So I succeeded and I really do love company. So therefore, I asked others, friends, family members, all my doctors, my therapist, my LinkedIn contacts to join me and to walk together.
Great. And you are an overachiever, 12 kilometers on top of the 50. That's great. And you are really, when I prepared the German interview, which happened to be online just a week or two before this one will be published, I realized that you came in number 10 for for people who on their own tried to gain some money. So not as a team, but as a single member. So congratulations on this. And of
Oh,
course,
thank
I'm
you.
talking about the German community. So what impact did your social media engagement have? And do you have any tips for others who are thinking about taking part?
Just keeps me going and it lightens up my mood. And talking about good stuff just cheers me up. And hopefully it cheers everyone up who reads it. And with this May 50K challenge, it was like always, the real thing is hidden behind the figures and all the data and the kilometers. And I found my way to South Africa. And when I asked all these people, would you like to join me? I asked Non, and she's the CEO of MSSA in South Africa. And I had no idea what lovely and heartwarming person she is. I just asked, "Oh, I'd like to do something really cool for the challenge. Let's do something together." And she agreed, and we had a lovely time. And now I found friends in South Africa.
That's great, and it must be such a beautiful country. A former colleague of mine was there for, I think, 1.5 years job rotation with somebody from South Africa who came to Munich for him. So I saw some pictures. A good friend of mine was there. I only visited Namibia so far, but that was also very, very beautiful. So let's talk about your wishes and goals. Do you have a big unfulfilled wish?
Mm, yeah, yeah, I do. I really enjoy flying in airplanes, and I would absolutely love to join the pilots on the jump seat in the cockpit. So that's a big dream. Yeah.
Fingers crossed it will happen at one point. What development would you like to see in the field of multiple sclerosis over the next 5 years?
As you can imagine, earlier diagnosis,
Mhm.
for everyone with MS symptoms, no matter where someone lives, and more awareness and less stupid comments.
Mhm.
With that wish, I refer to everyone, doctors and public, just everyone.
Yeah. Suzanne, since the way people interact with each other is a focus of your professional and private life, do you have any wishes for how this interaction should change?
That's a good one. Uh, yes, yes, I do. I think it's all about being human and about kindness and heartfelt support. We are in this together, in this life, and in this life with or without MS or whatever is in your life. So let's talk about positive things. If we keep on talking about the negative ones, we just keep on thinking about the negative ones and things won't get better. So let's talk about positive things, and let's say something or someone made my day more often, because here in Germany we don't do that too often. We are just, yeah, some kind of stiff and professional, and we are not robots, we are human beings. So just let's see each other.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the quick fire Q&A session. What is your current mantra?
Life is now, and it's precious. Every moment is precious.
Mhm. Looking back, was there a decision in your life that had a particularly formative influence?
Yeah, I think I'd like to mention two things. When I decided to work for Lufthansa, maybe this explains the airplane stuff, and when I met my husband, of course.
He likes to hear that, I guess. um, who would you like to have a fireside chat with, and would you talk? What would you talk about?
I would prefer to issue an invitation to our audience. Let me know when you're in the mood for an online chat about your life and my life, with whatever that may include.
Complete the sentence for me. Multiple sclerosis is.
A global thing, and we are in this together. And together, we are stronger.
Yep. Which website would you recommend on the topic of MS?
I like the website of the MS International Federation.
The MSIF. Yes, good one. Which book or audiobook have you read recently that you would recommend, and what is it about?
Um, I once again read through Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn. He's the founder of MBSR, mindfulness based stress reduction.
Mhm.
And it's about using the wisdom of your body and mind to face stress. And when I got this diagnosis, I got to think about my body and mind quite a lot. And using the wisdom, I think this is nice.
Mhm. Okay, so do you have any advice you would give your younger self at the time of diagnosis?
As I just got my diagnosis last year, I just I'm just grateful the way I keep on going.
Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
As I already said, we are all human beings, and this is really important to me. Please don't be afraid or shy to let people know you're human. We are not robots, and let's support each other. And it's more fun for everyone being surrounded by warm-hearted others.
Yeah. Remembers me on my grandma. My grandma, when there was somebody not acting nice, she, at least for really a lot of years, she said to me, this person must have had a horrible life that he or she acts not lovely right now. So please don't take it personally, but think about that there must be a reason for this, because nobody comes to Earth born as a baby and being mean and bad and aggressive to other people. So, yeah, I think we should accept the, let's say, sometimes not uh, positive felt emotions as well, and realize that people have reasons for that, and that it's most of the time it's not our fault that they act like this. Yeah. Where can we find you online, Susanne? Because you just offered the talk, the communication with you, so people need to know where they can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn. As I said, Susanne Melanie Schmid. This is my LinkedIn contact. And I have a website as well. So I hope Nille will put this in the show notes.
Of course I do.
And now you can listen to me on Nille's podcast. Thanks.
Okay, Susanne, thank you very much. And it was a pleasure again. And yes, to everybody out there, just talk to Susanne. It's lovely. Or follow her post. It's lovely as well. Thank you, Susanne. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed the interview and learned something new, and maybe even got inspired to take part in next year's May 50K challenge, because it helps us to raise money for more research and, of course, raise awareness. By the way, next time I will be talking to Christelle Todd about living with MS in South Africa, and she will share her insights from being a patient advocate and the MSSA vice chair. So please tune in again. Please share the podcast with people who might be interested in the content. Leave a rating wherever you are listening to the podcast. And of course, comment on social media or send me questions or suggestions for other episodes. And as always, stay as positive and active as possible, and see you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening today. I hope you found it helpful. You may also be interested in the previously published episodes and posts, which you can find at ms-perspektive.com/podcast. Perspective with a K. You can also get a free PDF with 11 tips for your positive impact on MS at ms-perspektive.com/newsletter. If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach me at nele@ms-perspektive.com or on social media. See you next time.